Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Whitty's Gear Reviews. So as promised, I was able to go back to my local Walmart and pick up the other two new Ozark Trail knives that we didn't get last time we were out. If you're new to the channel, do me a favor, go back a couple videos. If you want to watch the video on the first two in this series, please go back and watch it. But we're going to kind of space this out and I'll show you basically how I think they ran. So you've got this one. Then we reviewed this one already. And then this one. So you're looking at $9.97, $9.97. We jump up to $19.97. And we end at $24.97. And we're going to talk about the difference in price of what you get here. And is that worth it? Because at $24.97, you're starting to jump into where there's some really good, more well-known knife brands, budget knife brands at that price. But we'll take these two guys off the table and we'll talk about these a little bit later on my thought process on where all these I think can go. So we're going to start off first, and of course, like I said, they started naming their knives. So the first one we have here is like the old orange handled one with the black D2 blade, which this is my the one that I've customized, but this is just the original orange one, right? Had no name, just a 7.5 folder. Then they just basically changed the color of the blade. It's almost reversed. If you look at this blade, you have the white writing, or kind of like an off-white writing, black blade. This one you have the stonewashed silver with kind of like a dark gray logo on there. So that's kind of all they did with that. And then on this one, of course, you have the aluminum with the upgraded steel, or the different steel, which is just basically your 14C28N Scanvic. So, like I said, they named them Sonder. Then you've got the Valor. And then we'll check the name on this one, which they actually named, which is the Nimbus. The only different, this knife has some different characteristics compared to the others, because this one is a 7-inch folder, where all the others that were on the table, all its buddies over here, are all 7.5. This is the only 7-inch. And we're going to take a look at it closer. Let's bust it out of the pack here. And this first time, don't know how it feels, don't know how it functions. We'll see that together. Clean off the blade a little bit there, and there you go. So, blade's made out of D2 steel, just like all of them but the Valor. It has your standard Ozark, seems to be what they put on a lot of their knives, is your drop point. This one has aluminum handles, reversible pocket clip. The handles don't feel bad. You can see a difference in the coloring. This is more of a kind of like a subdued blue, and this is more bright and kind of metal flaky. And then you got that little kind of like an inlay around it. But definitely compared, you could see that it is smaller handle size and blade size. Maybe, yeah, just a hair smaller in the blade size. Most of the size difference is in the handle. You can kind of see, get a grip on that handle. We'll go to the finger. Yeah. So a little bit different in the size of the handle, but makes it a smaller, easier to pocket knife. Or, yeah. Kind of see the action on this one right out of the box. Okay. Not too bad. The first time was me. I missed the thumb stud. So it comes out of there. It rockets out of there. A finger flick on that. So it's real. It's pretty snappy. Boom. Reverse flip first time. Yeah, like this one. This one was a lot better. This one out of the box, we had troubles getting it to open. I had to loosen the pivot on there, and it does open and close a lot easier now, but it's not as quick as this one. This one feels real good for the size. This is a good option, guys, for people who are looking for something different. You're still getting the D2 steel. Still has the jimping on top, ambidextrous thumb studs. This one does have the wider thumb studs. If I'm not mistaken, these seem kind of skinny. Yeah, they're even skinnier than the regular Ozark, if you can see that. But they don't feel bad for being that small. I didn't even notice it, and it's kind of easier, in my opinion, to get your finger on it. But it doesn't feel like they're super small. So maybe that's a good thing. You can see there. But like a lot of Ozarks, you got your typical Ozark Trail logoing there on top. Nice grind on the blade. Sure, it's super sharp. Most all of their knives right out of the box. We got an envelope here. So it's sharp. Most of that's me. I mean, it's an envelope. I don't have another piece of paper on the workbench right now. But it's sharp. Not a lot I can do with this one other than use it for what it is. I just wanted to show y'all this is another one of their newly named knives. And it's a good knife, guys. I really like it. I mean, it's D2 steel. The handle feels good. It's a little smaller, but man, it's a snappy little knife. And it's not assisted. It's the first one out of all of these, it's a liner lock. But I don't mind that. I like a liner lock sometimes. I've got a lot of them. Yeah, really good knife. I like that one. And this is I lost the stuff saying what this one was. This one was the Nimbus. This is a good option, guys. I really like it. You know, with the aluminum handle, deep carry pocket clip that's reversible, liner lock, if you're a liner lock kind of guy and you like the, you know, just to be able to top finger flick your knives, man, that's actually a fidgety knife. I probably shouldn't have this one on my workbench because I probably sit there and play with it because it's so easy to open. I like knives that just I could sit there and play with and just flick it open multiple different ways. That's a good one for that. The action's really good in this. I'm actually really surprised for being one of their cheap $9.97 knives. Now we're going to get into the one that's the highest priced on the table. You know, and what did they do to get to that price? What changes are made? Is there a bunch in here? What did they do? 7.5, just like the rest, and this one's the elevation. Let's bust this one open and see if we can feel, you know, the difference in price from, you know, I guess it's $5 from this to this. And, you know, you're looking from $9.97 all the way up to $24.97, so $25. So looking at $15 difference. I can tell you right now from the last video, we didn't know I couldn't remember what it was, but it is a push button. And it's a clip point, so it's the only clip point. So two of these blades are different. You've got your Tonto and you've got your clip point. I do like the clip point, but what I don't understand on this knife, and you guys out there that are knife guys, tell me, we went from this knife of being 14C28N, which is great. I mean, a lot of people like D2, but if you're not going to use D2, I mean, this is a lot. This has a lot of good characteristics in the steel here, right? But why would you go away from that, both of these, to this? Which is, these are coming in at 12C27. So you knife guys, tell me what the, I guess, the benefits of doing that, or should they stuck to the 14C or the D2? But a lot similar to this one in handle style, which is different than this one and, of course, different than the originals, right? You can see the originals. You had your plastic shield around the back for your lanyard, and then I would imagine those are aluminum inserts that they put on both of these, which I think does make a better lanyard hole. I do like the shape of the blade here. This one is a lot like the Valor, where you have the thicker thumb studs. You can see how skinny these are. And then if you were looking at thumb stud diameter, that would be your lineup. So super skinny, normal, I guess, and then a little squatty and larger in diameter. Let's check the action on this. All right. So it's rolling in there good. That's probably about that knife's really quiet. And this thing is, I'm not going to lie, I don't know what they put in here different. Haven't taken it apart. They don't really say. But that action is fantastic on this knife. It feels like a higher quality knife than it is. Oh, man. That is super, super snappy. I mean, just very little effort. I mean, it's almost too easy. I think you could get one of your kids to do that. And you can kind of tell just by how loose the blade is. In comparison, this one won't even shake. And we've loosened the pivot on this guy. And we'll look at the original. Yeah. But can you hear that? It kind of sounds gritty, but it's not. It doesn't feel gritty, but it doesn't feel like this. That has a little noise to it when you're doing it like that. So I guess that's just par for the course. But they sound a lot different when you're... Hear that? You can hear everything working in that one. This one's not as bad, but it's super smooth. Especially in all different ways of opening this knife. But why on the 12C on this one? Instead of keeping it 14C? Everything else I like about this, the only other upgrade, like what's noticeable as you've seen me play with it, is this one's a push button. So, lefties, which I am one, I am a lefty, but I've always opened and closed my knives, makes no sense, right-handed. It's hard for me to open a knife, it just feels funny left-handed. I'm ambidextrous, depending what I'm doing, but for opening knives, I prefer my right hand. So it doesn't bother me, even though you have the ambidextrous pocket clip on there. The push button's really nice. It feels a lot like a Civivi, I guess, is how the function, how it feels in the hand. But man, it's a nice looking knife. Now, I did notice something between these two. So up in price, I didn't catch it on the first time, is they finally countersunk the pocket clip screws in there. You can see they're nice and flush, where all your old ones, they're not bad, but they're not flush. Even on the original one here. They're not bad, but they're not flush. Now you have something that's a lot more, maybe, let's say it's more refined. By, simple things. But the pocket clips, they're a little shallower. So this tongue here is a little longer than on those. That's the only thing I can see as a difference. If you can see, it's a little longer. And these ain't as deep carry, as some knives, right? You do have that 1/4 inch that's going to stick out, but fairly deep carry. This one is going to get you more of a deep carry. You're only sticking up about 1/8 on that one out of your pocket. Now, what they did on the internals of this knife compared to any of the others, I'm not sure. There is very little information about the elevation on here. It just says G10, ball bearing open, and then the steel type. Same on the back. Nothing special. But I do like the G10 handles on this. And this is my thought. I don't mind the silver stonewash in the blade, but I really like the titanium coating on this Tonto. My thoughts are, I want this blade in this knife. Everything appears to line up to me to where I could make that happen. The internals look a lot the same, but I'm not 100% sure. But I tell you what I'm going to do. You know what? They may not line up. But then again, they might. I don't know. I'm going to take them apart. And I am going to put, or attempt to put, this blade in this knife. And I think if you were looking at all the Ozark knives, being the D2, these two, this one being D2 as well, that one being the 14C, and this one being the 12C, I think the knife would look better with that blade on there. That's just me. Just the color of the blade with the orange back here and the green. I just think that would make a fantastic knife. But I almost don't want to take this one apart because of how smooth it is. This one's not near as smooth. This is probably the roughest one out of the bunch. And I'm still working with it. And I've even loosened the pivot on this one. Maybe I just got a bad one. Which, that's what you don't want, right? I mean, if it's quality control, even though they're cheap knives, but this is still a $19.90, this is still a $20 knife. And the action on the $10 ones, in my opinion, is better than this one. Just is. And the aluminum blade's better. The pocket clip, you know, the way they've redesigned that to, you know, flush mount the screw heads is better. The axis lock seems to be the same feeling as far as function. Maybe a little nicer to grab onto because they don't stick up as much as these. These stick up. They're not as recessed or as close to the as flush mount, I guess, to the scale as this one. These are a lot. You can tell it kind of barely sticks up there. But I think it's something in the feel to the handle on this one. See, this one just doesn't want to, even though I loosened it and it felt like yesterday it was performing a lot better. Well, I don't want to cut your other knife with it. It's not easy. It's not an easy knife to open, no matter which way you try it. I mean, flicking it, you kind of got to give it a good flick out. Not 100% impressed with the action of this particular knife. Guys, if you have one of these, how's yours work compared to the old one, the Nimbus, or the new Elevation? I like the Elevation. I like everything about it. It seems like it's the easiest out of the bunch. I mean, super snappy. Shuts really nice. I like everything about it. I just want somebody to convince me that the 12C27 blade is better than the 14C or the D2. So you knife guys out there, convince me that this is the right choice for the blade steel on this knife. If not, I'm going to do my best to stick this 14C in it. And this knife is actually, to me, a big surprise. If you're looking for something blue and a little shiny, and you like the top finger flick, this is an enjoyable knife. And you don't sacrifice steel material. It's not like you're going to 5 CR or anything like that, or 440 or 420A. You're getting the D2 out of this one. And most everybody said that the hardness on their D2 is between 60 and 62. HRC, that's people that have actually tested them. And I don't know for sure. I just go off of what I watch as a enjoyer of watching videos, just like y'all. Not a knife guy. Everybody knows that. I am a knife guy because I like collecting them. My knowledge is limited compared to a lot of the people out there that study this stuff. Man, I study the knife itself. I read about it, look at some videos. I'll get as much information as I can off the internet before I do my videos. To try to, at least can pronounce, or, all right, pronounce is a bad word because I've got a speech impediment. I pronounce a lot of stuff wrong. At least tell you what the materials are and kind of, go from there. This one, best action on the table out of the bunch by far. Still not sold on why they went to the 12C. These, I'm not going to lie. Partial to them. I love them. They're easy to flick. This one's really nice. And I was just wondering if it's a coating on this blade, why this one feels so much better. I mean, this one's as easy to open, but it just doesn't. It feels more grindy than the new one here. The Sonder. So, in the name of things, you got the OG, which is typically in orange handles. That's your 7.5 folding knife. They couldn't even give it a name. Wug out, Ozark Trail, orange handled Walmart knife, whatever. And then you're going to go down to the Nimbus. Right, we're going to name something. We name that one the Nimbus. We'll go to the Sonder, which is basically the Grail. Same knife, just a different coating on the blade. Then you're going to go to the Valor. And then now the Elevation. What do you think about that, guys? Did they do enough to make it a $24 knife? Or $25 knife, $24.97? And if so, is Ozark getting to where if they keep distance in their price, but adding subtle quality, are they going to be in a category outside of where maybe into a category where people won't buy their knives as much because there's other stuff out there on the market that's in the same price range but maybe better, right? Because you can go to the Dispatch here, micarta handles, rear flicker, but super great action on this knife. You can even go into the Civivi range with these. I've got one here. If you're going to go into the Mini Praxis, super good action. Just a good all-around small knife. Are they jumping too high for what you see? Now, I will say one thing. If they were to make either a push button or an axis lock, preferably probably an axis lock, titanium scales, and a S35 blade or Magna Cut, what would that cost in comparison? Because we know you start adding titanium, S30V, Magna Cut, you're looking at $180, $400 knife. Is Ozark going to take that on? Are they going to hit that market? I can tell you, if they can have this action, come up with maybe the clip point, or maybe the clip point's the right way to go. Keep away from their standard. I still can't open this. Stay away from their standard drop point. Could they get into that higher end market? Blade lineup is good on this one. This is a really good feeling knife. I really like it. I think I'm just hooked on that 12C, why they did that. Knife guys, comment. Let me know. Why would they do that? I've read and I've heard that it's about a little less in the same family as a 14C, but everybody's like, just go 14C. So I'm wondering why they went 12 here. Anyways, guys, do me a favor. What do you think? Let me know. Like, share, subscribe, click all those notifications. Give us that thumbs up. The best way to help the channel is the comment and like and share. Those mean more to the channel than anything. If you do want to go above and beyond or be something different, support the channel, there's still 3 ways. Whitty's gear, buy me a coffee, memberships. Those are all available if you choose to. That's it for today, guys. Tell me what you think of the new Walmart lineup, right? Got a lot of options sitting on the table. Where do you line yourself? We got guys that are going to stay over here. They're going to stay with something they know. That's fine. We got guys that might move over to this range. Super budget, but great knives. They just don't want a Walmart knife. So where do you line yourself? And then, of course, we're not going to talk about the Benchmade guys or, the high dollar brands, even though Benchmade is your local in-store high dollar brand. There's a bunch of knives out there that are a lot more expensive and for reasons, right? Really great quality, well made, good customer service, all the things, good product support, whatever. But I'm talking about the average guy to walk in, starting at EDC. This is a good place, in my opinion, to start. If I can take myself back to my first EDC knife, knowing what I know today, and I had an option of some of these, I probably would have put this in my pocket before the Buck 110 that I had. I probably would have preferred this being a single-handed open knife. It's not a lockback. I probably would have preferred that in my pocket. And definitely for the money, $24, I'd have been like, sell me one of those. But I would have put any of these in my pocket, guys. Back then, knowing what I know today, having the resources I had back then as far as money, this is where I would align myself. And it's not a bad thing to be on a budget where there's a lot of other things in life that you are forced to spend money on, and the things that you want to spend money on, you don't have a lot of it. It's a big reason why I started this channel. I was there. I was that guy. I've been lucky in life as I've got older, and I want to help people that are still in that say, man, you could get some decent quality stuff and not have to blow your bank. $9.97, guys. If all you can do is have a $5 bill to put up, you only got to do that twice and you can buy one of these knives and start an EDC. Got flashlights in that price range. We could build you an EDC kit for easily under $65 with decent gear. We can get you started. That's if you have a wallet and a watch already. Gets a little pricey when we jump into those things, but decent flashlight, good pocket knife, we could get you in there. Anyways, guys, love y'all. See you on the next one. you.